Do hard shit, not because it's fun, but because the win actually means something. You bled for it. You broke for it. You earned it. Easy wins are forgettable. Hard ones change you. That's the point.
There's an inverse relationship between convenience and significance. We tend to only appreciate things that require some degree of friction or sacrifice. When things are just handed to you, you take them for granted. It's human nature. If we are all accumulating more and more results and outputs in our life that are just handed to us by technology, in one way, it's kind of robbing us for opportunities of significance. I actually had a conversation with my wife last night where she was telling me her childhood friends sent her some voice notes. Her kid was having problems. Her business partner was just completely checked out. Huge fight with her ex-husband, all this stuff. And my wife was like, do you want to talk? And her friend was like, I never even considered, like, I didn't want to bother you. And then, of course, they got on the phone. They talked for like an hour and a half. And it was this great kind of reconnection. That reluctance to even like actually call somebody without permission. We robbed ourselves of the friction that actually builds the connective tissue of our relationships, right? Because you can't reproduce that intimacy through like voice notes or text messages or anything.
The best definition of safety that's been formally given to me is we can go through something hard and come out the other side okay. The best definition of personal safety and sovereignty is I'm okay no matter what happens. Everybody in one way or another is probably using AI to assist them with their workflow. And what I've noticed is that there's certain things that it's robbed me of the enjoyment of in completion, even as it's made completing it easier and maybe better. And then you start to ask yourself a deep question, what am I doing it for? Am I doing it for the outcome? But I'm doing this thing for the way that I feel when I have finished it.
It's kind of like playing a video game with cheat codes. It's fun for a minute, but then when you beat it, it's not satisfying. Most of the technological innovation of the last 20 years has just been adding little cheat codes to all these areas of our lives. It has made everything more seamless, frictionless, convenient, faster, more efficient, but it's robbing the satisfaction of like doing.
Which is the reason that you do it. You do it for the emotional state of having done it.
Yeah. Dating is probably the most egregious example of this. If you look at the dating apps, they're completely optimized for convenience of introduction. But in the process of mass matching people out of convenience, you are losing that friction and that the struggle, which is essentially the filtration system for who's actually going to be a good partner for you.
Which also creates the significance in the connection too. And that's that bottom line. Easy wins are forgettable. People that became millionaires through crypto, how deranging must that be? Completely deranging. The same way as somebody who's poor winning the lottery, in many ways, that could be one of the worst days of their life. That was completely unmoored to my existing perspective of reality.
There's a skill set around money. There's a lot of bad habits around money that you've like never developed because you never climbed the mountain steadily over a long period of time. You were just like airdropped to the peak. So clearly you just fall off. I think the tricky thing with all of this whole concept, all these technologies, is what happens is that it becomes incumbent upon us individually to go find the new difficulty. And the problem is like, it's really against our nature is to always choose the path of least resistance. So it's very hard to develop that muscle. And I think a lot of people just don't have that muscle.